Thanks for visiting the patient and the weather. Today I'm meteorologist Al Peterlin. I'd like to talk about the weather health risk for December 8th, 2025. We do keep additional graphics available at tpatw.com, and we do have a storefront on Amazon. And if you do your Amazon shopping through our storefront, Patient Weather, you can support Patient Weather. Looking at the surface map, high pressure remains and continues to dominate most of the country, but we do have that little bit of a frontal system trying to lift back up through Florida, and it will in fact cover portions of the southeast on the 8th. We do have a warm front trying to push up into the plains, and that will mean rising temperatures and a lot of activity there. And of course, we have that atmospheric river trying to flow into the Pacific Northwest with unsettled weather there, rain on the coastal areas, and snow in the higher elevations. Looking at our vitality index, which is a composite of all of those elements that do impact human health, and you can see that for the eastern half of the country, a lot of activity, very significant here in the upper plains, and then very, very significantly in a line all the way from East Texas all the way on up through Ohio into New England. Looking at pressure change, and pressure change is one of those elements that seems to impact a lot of people, both with headache and arthritis. We have falling pressure here in the northern plains, the central and eastern portions of the Dakotas, all the way down into touching the eastern portions of Nebraska, across Iowa, Minnesota, Wisconsin, picking up the Michigan Upper Peninsula. We have post-frontal rising pressure all the way across much of the east, stretching from really San Antonio up across Louisiana into central Arkansas, cutting across southern Illinois, Indiana, western Kentucky, western Tennessee, down through Mississippi, Arkansas, and then picking up again along the eastern seaboard from the Carolinas through Virginia, up into Pennsylvania, New Jersey, New York, and most of New England, and a lot of the Canadian cities here, basically Toronto up to Ottawa. Looking at the change in temperatures, and at this time of the year, that's extremely important. We have rising temperatures and a risk probably of some migraine and headache here in the northern plains, Nebraska, the Dakotas, Minnesota, Iowa, Wisconsin, and the Michigan Upper Peninsula. Falling temperatures once again here, even though it rose for just a short period across Pennsylvania, New England, into eastern Kentucky, and down here in Louisiana and Mississippi, even trying to touch a bit here in extreme southern Texas. Dew point temperatures falling in association with those rising air temperatures. We have rising dew point temperatures here up in the plains, falling dew point temperatures in the east, and the vapor map showing pretty much the same thing, although confining the most significant falls right here in Louisiana and Mississippi. Looking at POI, which is our measure of the change in the atmospheric oxygen available for those that are sensitive, and we have a real migraine risk for a Migraine Monday, really stretching from Austin and San Antonio, Texas, clear on up through Arkansas into Ohio, Pennsylvania, New York, and on into New England, covering all of the southeast except for a small section here in Georgia, but really also a migraine risk across Florida. The real significant migraine risk, or the most elevated, here in Louisiana and into Mississippi and Arkansas, picking up dramatically again in Pennsylvania, New York, and up into New England. We do have a risk of asthma and arthritis, stretching across the plains, actually from the Central Plains, Oklahoma, up through Kansas, becoming even more significant as we get into Nebraska, the eastern portions of the Dakotas, Iowa, Minnesota, Wisconsin, Michigan, Upper Peninsula. And of course, with that atmospheric river, here in the Pacific Northwest, we do have that risk across Vancouver Island and the westernmost sections of Washington State. Thanks for visiting the patient and the weather. Your comments are appreciated. If you hurt, tell us where you're located. And if you do your shopping on Amazon, visit the Patient Weather storefront, shop through us, and you support Patient Weather.